if it's a car that's under 2007 or older than 2007, you can get a battery drain with the car. Yeah, so right now I'm sitting in a 2005 MK5 Golf, and I'm going to explore the question of whether buying a car like this, which is almost 18 years old, is still worth it in 2023. So in front of me we've got a 2005 MK5 Golf, and really I'm just going to take you around it and see whether it stood the test of time over what, close to 18 years now. So I'm just going to walk around the car and show you a bit bits and pieces and see how things have held up really, and basically sort of give you an idea as to whether or not it's worth buying a car at this age. So the first thing you probably notice is the headlamps are very weathered and misty. So if you wanted to improve those, you'll need to get some polish and buffer them out. That'll probably bring it up to 2023 standards. The front logo is still in good condition. I believe it's just plastic, but yeah, still in good condition. Again, the headlamps, yeah, they need to be buffed out and polished. I'll just bring you down here. This plastic grille, it probably hit something, and yeah, that should be replaced really. So what I know, these cars are famous for having rust, but this car, 2018, there's not really any signs of rust on it. So either it was changed at some point later on in its life, or this is just one of the good examples where the rust issue didn't affect it. You see the alloys, that's purely cosmetic, but the center cap is missing. I think these center caps can actually fall off, as far as I know. Yeah, the wing mirror still in good condition. Again, no rust on the arch. I think I would know if the back had been replaced, but yeah, it seems like it stood the test of time. The headlamps, this is one famous thing that MK5s are known for, getting condensation in the headlamp. Sometimes people would have like a pool of water as well in the headlamps, but this doesn't have it. So yeah, you can see the corrosion on this badge here. And this is the 1.6 petrol FSI engine. In the back of the car, this has got a cloth interior, which, to be fair, over 18 years is still in fairly good condition. I mean, you've got some marks there, but that can all be sort of cleaned out with a good valet, so it's nothing really to worry about. The thing with this car, it's got a center armrest as well, and it's got through loading, if you can see here. And a lot of cars, a lot of other more expensive German cars, you'd have to pay extra for things like that. And I don't know whether it was an optional extra with this car, but I mean, yeah, it's still a good feature to have on a car that's this age. So this car has all electrically operated windows. It's got heated mirrors as well. and electrical adjustable mirrors as well. So one thing on this car, the central locking doesn't work anymore. So it works if you want to lock the car, but if you want to then unlock it, it doesn't actually work. A good feature this car came with was automatic headlights, though you can't see that it's actually got that because this is so corroded. But yeah, it's got automatic headlights if you just put it in this position. It's got automatic wipers as well. This car is a manual, and this gearbox over this time has been quite reliable. So I should mention, I've had this car since 2017, and when I purchased it, it was on around 95,000 miles. So I'm just gonna show you what mileage it's on currently now. So they've got the key there. So the current mileage of the car now is 130,000 miles. This is a petrol as well. So yeah, while I'm here, this is a good opportunity to talk about what's going on in the dashboard. So you can see a service is due, and you can see the check engine light is on. Now this check engine light comes on intermittently, so it's not something I've really focused on too much. As long as the car's still moving, I kind of just keep it moving as well. I haven't really took the time to investigate it. So it came on for a period of around 6 months, and then it just went off. And then one day I was driving along, it came back on again, but nothing happened to the car, so I just ignored it. So we come here to this. So this is the original head unit that came with the car. Now this is a bit of an RCD update. One of my previous videos, I did a video where I changed this unit into an upgraded RCD unit, which had Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So with these cars, I think if it's a car that's under 2007 or older than 2007, you can get a battery drain with the car when you put a new head unit in. Now when I put that new head unit in, I didn't actually get a battery drain, but at the time I had borrowed the car to somebody else, and I didn't want them to experience any battery drain with the car, because it just had the potential to give them a headache. So in the end, I just ended up putting the old head unit back into the car. But eventually I might just put the new unit back in, because it is very useful having Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and everything like that. So I mean, over the years, manual gearbox not giving me any trouble, but you can see here that it is very worn and tired and needs a bit of a refresh. Oh yeah, another issue is the headlining on these cars. This is something I only noticed recently, but this is starting to sag. So I have another MK5 Golf, which is 2006, so it's a year younger than this current car, and the headlining on that car is completely gone. So yeah, I mean, this seems like it's not the worst, you know, in all the circumstances. But that might be something that needs to get redone at some point. Right now, heating's at 0. Heating's at 1, nothing happens. Heating's at 2, nothing happens. Heating's at 3, again, nothing happens. Once you put the heating to 4, yeah, you get this noise. So I think it's a combination of things, to be honest. So initially, the heating, over a period of time, it will just never work unless you put it on 4. And then one day when you put it on 4, I just heard this noise, which I assume was coming from somewhere in the glove box, and it's to do with the fans or something like that. But again, I haven't really investigated it. I think there's 2 issues at play here. So there might be one, which is the regulation of the fan here to make it work, and then obviously the noise when you put it on 4. But the funny thing is, when you put it on 1 and you want to heat the back windscreen, it actually works, but it just doesn't work when you want to have the heating within the car itself. Yeah, all round, this car is a very solid car. It's been very good to me. Like I said, it's on 130,000 miles at the moment, and I purchased it around 95, 96. So I'm trying to recall all of the things I've done to the car or I've had to replace in the car. But what I might do is go show you the engine bay and have a talk about what's going on there. So with these cars as well, over time, the bonnet latch starts to cause you problems. So it becomes harder and harder to open that full bonnet latch, but we'll see if it's good on this occasion. Yeah, true Mark 5 fashion, it's not it's not easy to open. Yeah, so I managed to get it open. So as you can see, this is the FSI engine. It is a 1.6 litre petrol. So if you've got the battery, now I don't know how many times I've had to replace the battery in this car. It's been quite a few times. What I noticed is a trend over the last probably 2-3 years. In the summer, around August, the battery will always just go for a period when it just dies. So you'll park up the car in the evening, you'll come back to the car the next morning, and the car just doesn't start. And I've had to replace the battery about 4 or 5 times. But that issue only seems to happen in the summer. So I don't know whether somebody knows about that, whether it's a common issue, but if they do, let me know. So you've got the FSI engine here. It is quite a noisy engine. I definitely know if someone's driving an FSI engine outside, because it always sounds like this. See, the other issues I've had are the coolant. Yeah, so the coolant can leak out these cars, and that's basically linked to the thermostat and the water pump, I believe. So those need to be replaced. You can see the coolant level in this car is quite low, which means it has probably been leaking out at some point, because I do try to regularly top it up. So the water pump and the thermostat is something I'm going to have to look into. One other issue that I've had to deal with, I think 2 or 3 times, is if you look down here, if you see that belt down there, I've had to replace that belt about 2 times, I think it is. And the main reason for that is where you've had an oil leak, the hot oil leaks down onto the belt and it basically melts the belt. So that's something to watch out for if you're going to buy one of these cars. Just make sure there's no issues like that. The other thing I had to deal with when I first initially got the car was changing the coil pack and changing the spark plugs. But I mean, spark plugs is something you're going to change regularly when you service the car, but the coil pack is something I had to change, and I kind of had to learn the hard way with this, because I used the cheap branded version, and basically they failed after about 3 weeks. And then when I went to actually incur the cost of buying the more expensive brand, so I think I bought the Bosch brand, they've been good ever since. I've not had to change them at all. So that's something to watch out for, so you don't have to end up paying twice for something. I mean, other than that, the other things you just have to watch out for: brake fluid, but that's just topping up fluids, to be honest. That's nothing too significant, but it is just in an awkward place, so make sure you take off this cover when you want to change it. I don't recall having any other specific issues, to be honest. I think everything else has been okay. I did take a preventative measure in changing the timing chain on this car. So this car is driven by a timing chain, not a timing belt, and I changed that around 100,000 miles just as a preventative measure, because I know they are prone to fail. They can sort of expand and snap, so I didn't really want that to happen. But yeah, the car's been going strong, relatively strong ever since, to be honest. In my opinion, I would recommend buying one of these cars, as long as you're prepared to take the preventative measures to kind of deal with it. And it's like any car really, as long as you're willing to work with it and do what's necessary to keep it going, then it will serve you in the right way. But yeah, this is the Mark 5 Golf, 130,000 miles on the clock. I think it will go to about 140, but we'll see. I did have another Mark 5 Golf in the family, and that made it to 130,000, so this car is basically on par with that, so I think it can still keep going, to be honest.